Jennifer. I would like to invite you to join me in some basic stretching with Pilates, yoga, and ballet for your whole body to strengthen your core and stay in shape. I've always been interested in health and fitness. I am not certified to teach classes, however, as a participant of various classes for years, I wish to share my knowledge with you. I want this to be fun and interactive without causing your body any harm. Please do not push yourself past your limits. Feel free to ask questions and post comments on any of the exercises that we are doing. Thank you. Hello, and thank you for joining me. If you find that you are more advanced than I'm showing in the basic exercises, you can do it with double time and speed them up. You can also use soup cans or hand weights for the arm exercises and may choose to use a resistance band. I prefer to do the exercises with bare feet. You're welcome to use bare feet or runners, whichever is most comfortable for you. For some of the exercises, you may need a chair, a wall, and a yoga mat. The weights and resistance bands are optional, so let's get creative and feel free to share your ideas. Let's begin. Hello again. I just wanted to break down a couple of the moves and stretches we're going to be doing before we start. So the first one that we're going to be doing is we're going to put our feet just a little past hip width apart, and remember that your hips aren't out as far as your knees. They're not as big as you think. And what we're going to do is we're going to bend our knees and we're going to pivot 45 degrees. You're welcome to lift the leg off that you're not reaching on, off the floor a little bit if it's more comfortable. And we're just going to reach across, and then we're going to come back to center. We're going to put that foot down, lift up this one, pivot to 45 degrees, and make sure we're pivoting from our waist. We're going to reach up, and we're going to come back to center. Now let's try 3 of those. We lift up, pivot, reach, back to center. Up, pivot, reach, and back to center. And reach, and back to center. And reach, and back to center. And one more, reach, back to center, reach, and back to center. So the next exercise that we're going to break down, we're actually going to expand on that, and we're going to go a little further in our stretch. We're going to put our legs a little bit further apart, and what we're going to do is we're going to lift our left leg off the ground first, and we're going to do a full pivot and a full reach, and at the same time we're going to try to move our torso past the 45 degrees to almost the 90 degrees. Remember to keep your back straight, and remember to try to twist with your hips, not your shoulders. So we want to do a hip twist. This leg can come off, pivot on your toes, and we're going to reach back to center. We're going to do the same thing with the right leg. We're going to pick it up, we're going to torso twist, and we're going to do a nice deep reach, and then we're going to come back to center. Remember to always bend your knees when you're in your stretch. So we're going to do 3 of those. We're going to go stretch, reach, back to center. Stretch, reach, back to center. And back to center, and back to center, and reach. And always remember to try to keep your arms straight too. When you do your reach, we don't want to do a reach like this. We want to try to hold our core and hold our torso up the best that we can. So that's that exercise that I wanted to break down. The same when we do our arm exercises, we want to remember to stand tall and keep our arms as straight as we can, with lots of control when we're doing our exercises. So let's just spread our feet hip width apart and gently go up and down. Remember, we don't want to go past the shoulders, and we want to keep our arms nice and straight, and up and down. The same when we're doing our downward motion. We want to have our hands palmed down, and we want to go cross in front and then back up. And we want to try to keep a nice straight torso while we do this and not lean into what we're doing. So those were a couple of the stretches we're going to break down. And then it's the same. Always remember to bend your knees. That way you don't put extra strain on your kneecaps. And what I want you to remember too is it doesn't matter how far you can go in your stretches. What matters is that you're keeping your proper form and you're keeping your torso up, because we really want to work on the core and the transverse muscles, which will help protect our back. So that's what I wanted to do. And I think that's everything we needed to break down for the exercises we're doing today. So let's just go ahead and start by doing some basic stretches. So what I'd like you to do is I would like you to just put your feet hip width apart, and we're going to start, and we're going to reach up with this, and we're going to gently drop this shoulder. We're going to feel a stretch over here, just tiny little stretches, and we want to hold our core up. We don't want to flop over like this, and we want to try to be straight, and we're going to just lift a little bit this foot, and then we're going to just lift a little bit with this side, and we're going to lift, and at the same time we lower this shoulder, but we don't want to sag. We want to do our form, and we want to just lift. And we're going to practice this. So now that we've got that down and our arm form down, and we've stretched out our shoulders a little bit and our arms, we're going to do a little 5-minute cardio in order to warm up the rest of our muscles. So what I'd like you to do is we have a couple options for a cardio warm-up. I'm going to show you a couple of options that we have. The first option that we have is just marching in the spot. If you feel comfortable doing this, you can pick up your legs like you would walking. You can also walk around your living room. And remember to just move our arms like we would a little bit like this if we were walking or marching with our arms at a 90-degree angle. And we're going to do this, you can do this for 5 minutes. You can walk around your living room. You can even do a little bit of a modified jumping jack for cardio if you'd like. We will be using it later in the stretches, but what you can do is you can tap, and instead of doing a jumping jack, we're going to start with the legs, and we're just going to go put our legs past hip width apart, and we're going to go tap with one leg, tap with the other, tap, tap, and then we can add the arms, and we can go up and up and up and up and up, and bend your knees if you need to. You can also do this for your 5-minute cardio workout if you would like to. This works too. It's a modified jumping jack so we don't hurt our knees. So we're not going to hurt our knees when we do this, and at the same time it's going to get our muscles warmed up so that we don't hurt them during the stretches. So up, 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 and if you want to switch it up, you can turn around and do more marching on the spot for our cardio. You can also, if you have a treadmill in the same room, you're welcome to walk on your treadmill for 3 or 4 minutes. I don't have one in my living room, so I will be doing these just to warm up. And then once we get those muscles warmed up, we'll get into the rest of the stretches. And if at any time it's too much, you feel a cramp, something hurts, feel free to stop and take a break, because it's just your body's way of telling you that you've either tweaked a little muscle or your muscles are learning new things that they haven't learned before. Okay, so I'm going to go back to a modified jumping jack, and I'm going to go out and out and out and out and out and out. And this time I'm going to do something different with my legs. I'm going to go step and step, step and step, step and step, step and step. And then we're going to cross down. Bend your arms and go in front of you, and step and step and step and step. And if this is too fast for you, you can feel free to slow it down to step and step and step and step. Or you can always speed it up to the speed that I had in for the cardio beginning. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that's probably close to 5 minutes. So now that we've done our warm-up, you can feel free to pause me and do a little more workup warm-up if you like. And we're going to get back to our stretching. So I'd like us to go back to one arm up, one arm down, and you're just going to do a gentle reach this time. We're just going to put our head gently to the side that we're leaning over to. Very gently put your head there. And then we're going to do it with the other side, and this time we're going to gently bend our head, but at the same time, we are going to hold our form. We don't want to fall over like this. We still want to have a tall arm, and we're just doing a gentle neck stretch while we drop the shoulder down. So we're going to do it this side, and I think we're going to do 6 today. I think 6 is going to be our number. So that's 2, and just hold it for anywhere from about 3 seconds, and that's 3, and this will be 4, and 5, and 6. So now that we've done that, we're going to do some basic stretching with our neck. What we're going to do is we're going to go down to center and then move our neck slowly over to the left. And we're going to bring it back and then look over slowly to the right. We're going to come back and go slowly to the left. Come back to center and go slowly to the right. Now we don't want to go all the way back because putting your head back can actually put a lot of strain on your neck. So we're never going to do a full circle. We're only going to do a half circle, and we're on 4, and this is 5, and one more is 6. So when we're done that one, we're going to come back to center. And now we're just going to do some shoulder shrugs. So we're going to take our shoulders and we're going to roll 3 times back. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to come 3 times forward. We're going to go 1, 2, and 3. And while we're doing our shoulder shrugs, we want to try to keep our torso tight and just move our shoulders. So that's what we're going to do for that exercise. And now, what I'd like to do is I'd like to go back to, we've stretched out our neck, we've stretched out our shoulders. Just like you to put your hands out like this. We're going to spread our knees hip width apart, and we're going to do a little bit of arm work. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring them in and touch our shoulders if you can, and bring them back out. We're going to have our feet a little past hip width apart, and we're going to go in, out, in, out. And we're going to do 10 of these. This is 3, 4, 5, 6. And what I want you to do is only move at your elbows and keep your core nice and long and keep your legs nice and long. Okay, so after we've done 10 of these, we're going to add our feet. And our feet are going to go together, apart, together, apart. And we're going to do this for now. We're just going to do a toe touch on each side while our arms are doing this. Now we're going to switch our arms up, and we're going to go up full and down to halfway where your arms, shoulders meet. So we're going to go half. We're going to come to here, touch, touch. We're going to cross over in front now and up to shoulder, cross and up to shoulder, cross and up, and cross and up, cross and up, cross and up. Okay, so now we're going to shake it out. We're going to shake our shoulders out. We're going to do a nice reach like this. We're going to come in and we're going to give a nice hug. We're going to come back, and then we're going to do a nice hug like this. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to reach this arm up, we're going to drop this down, and we're going to put this leg behind us. And what I want you to do is I only want you to rest your hand on your lower back. If you can go forward and touch your fingers, that's great. If you can't and you feel any pressure in the shoulder, just drop it down to your lower back and feel the stretch there. And then we're going to do the same thing for the other side. So now we're going to take the other side, we're going to drop our hand, we're going to put this hand on our lower back, and we're going to just get a nice stretch in there. And don't overdo it, and if it feels too much, just put your hand on your head and rest your hand on your head. If you can't put it onto your back, just rest your hand on your head, and you should feel the stretch in the shoulder. back to center. This is center. I'll kind of stand in the middle and call it center. So the next thing I'd like to do with you is I would like to do a little bit more of an arm stretch up. So what we're going to do is we're going to just reach up with two arms and we're going to go on our tippy toes. And we're just going to do a little bit of a calf raise. We'll hold our arms up straight and we'll just go up and down, up and down. And we're going to do 6 of these. 3, 4, 5, and 6. And if you find that this is too hard to do, then you can just go up a little bit. Go up as much as you're comfortable without straining your calves and your arms. Okay, so that's our calf stretch, basic one that we've done. So now what I'd like to do is I'd like to do a fuller stretch on this side. This time what we're going to do for our stretch is we're going to put our feet hip width apart, and remember to bend your knees if you need to. We're going to put them hip width apart, and we're going to do a little bit bigger stretch. This time we're going to drop our shoulder down. We're going to lean over with our torso, push your hip out. We're going to do a little more of a stretch that you should feel through here. We want to keep our form and we want to kind of keep in line. We don't want to do this and we don't want to do this. We want to try to keep in line. We're going to go over and we're going to come back. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. We're going to go over, we're going to bend our knees, bend our hip, and have a nice stretch at the same time bending our arm. But we want to make sure to keep our torso in line. So we're going to do 6 of those. So over, hold it for 2, and come back. Over, hold it for 2, and come back. And we're going to just do this again. This is 3. This is 4. This is 5. And this is 6. So you should feel it in your shoulders. You should get those muscles working. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 shoulder shrugs back. And I want you to take your right arm, cross it over your left, and give it a nice stretch. Don't grasp your elbow. Hold a little bit above your elbow. And we're just going to try to keep our shoulder down and just stretch in front of our body. We're going to put this arm down. We're going to do the same thing with the other side. We're going to out and over and hold. And then back and down. And we're going to do it again. Go out and over. We're going to do 3 of these. And back and down and out and over. And back and down. And 1 more. So out and over. Yeah, we're going to try to keep our hips square when we do this. Mine accidentally moved because sometimes even my posture isn't the greatest. We're going to go out and over, back and down. And I think now we're going to do a little bit of floor work. We've kind of stretched out our upper body, so now it's time to do a little more work with our legs. And then we're going to get to the floor. Hello again. So we're going to take it to the floor now. I've gotten out my exercise mat, and I just want to let you know, you can always grab a towel or any kind of little small blanket if you need to when we're doing floor exercises. Just to kind of protect your knees if you have knee problems, or protect your hips if you find that your hips are digging into the ground. So feel free to do that. And now what we're going to do to get down to the floor is we're going to spread our hips past hip width apart, and we're going to do a nice stretch. We're going to try to keep our back straight and our torso straight, and we're going to try to make sure our knees don't go over our toes. And we're going to get to the floor this way. We're going to do just a couple stretches like this, and we're going to go all the way up. We're going to come down into our stretch, and we're going to come up. And if by chance you can't do that, then you can just feel free to just go down. And we're going to start sitting by cross-legged on the floor to start some of our stretches. And so what we're going to do is we're going to sit cross-legged, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to keep our back straight, our torso straight. We're going to put our hands in front of us, and we're going to lean forward. And what we're going to do is we're going to bend at We're going to try to keep our bottom as close to the floor as we can, and we're going to bend from the waist. You can feel free to put your shoulders in front of you, but I don't want to go over yet. I want this to be a waist bend and up. And sometimes you'll find that you might not be as flexible, but it's the little moves that we're working on. And I'm sure you just saw the tiny little puppy in the camera. That's Goldie. She's our little ball of energy, and you may see her on the videos because she's used to being here when I'm working out on the floor. So we're just going to do 6 of these, just forward and back. And if it's more comfortable, put your hands on your hips. We're going to try to keep a nice straight line and just bend forward. And on the last one, I'd like you just to relax your torso. You can come for a stretch, put your elbows on the mat, and lean your body over, just so we can have a nice little stretch. If at any time the stretches become too much, you can always go into child's pose. Child's pose is where you put your knees under you, you stretch out your arms, and you relax into your mat. So at any time, if it becomes too difficult, just feel free to go into child's pose. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put our left leg out, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to form an L shape with our right. And what I want to do is I want to, from the hip, go to center first of all. And if you can't go very far, that's fine. I will bend from the hip and just reach forward, and you should feel the stretch in this leg. And we're going to hold it for 6. And we're going to release back and just shake that leg out. And always remember to keep your knee bent. You don't have to do a straight leg if it's not comfortable. And we're going to go forward again. We're going to hold it for 6. And then we're going to come back up. And that's 2 on that side. And now we're going to do it with the other side. So we're going to put our leg over, and we're going to go to center like we were, and we should feel a stretch here from the waist and down. And then we're going to come back up, and we're going to do it again. And you should feel a stretch in this leg here. Remember to keep your knee bent if you need to. And then we're going to come back up. Now we're going to go back to this leg this time, and what we're going to do is we're going to stretch a little bit, so we're going to turn a little bit towards this knee. And now we're still going to keep straight from the waist. And we're going to bend over. And we can reach our arms forward, or we can keep our arms here. We want to make sure we're not folding over. We're going to go back for 6, and we're going to come up, relax. We're going to do one more. See if you can get a little bit deeper this time if you have to lift your knee up. But remember to keep your form. And now we're going to go to the other side. So we're going to twist our torso a little bit, go to that leg, and we're going to do a stretch from the waist down. I'm not very flexible. I have tight hip flexors. I did a lot of gymnastics and sports when I was younger, so. So what we're going to do is we're going to put both legs out, and you're going to bend from the waist, and you're going to go as far forward as you can. Go as far forward as you can, bending from the waist. 3, and then we're going to just release and relax. And you should feel a stretch through your calf, your thigh muscles. And we're going to do it again. So you're just going to have your legs straight, bent if you can. And we're just going to lean forward from the waist and do a small stretch. Okay, now we're going to put our legs together and just shake them out like this. Just going to shake them out. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of little leg lifts. So I'm going to put the towel beneath my hips because that seems to be my sore spot, is just putting the towel beneath my hips. We're going to go down on one arm. And we're going to do some leg lifts. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the bottom at a 90-degree angle. We're going to put the top at a straight angle, and we're going to do leg lifts, and we're going to do 6. We're going to go 1, 2, and I want it to be slow and controlled. I want you to lift from your whole leg. Keep your knee and your leg aligned. If you need to bend your knee a little bit, that's fine, but we want form, and we're just going to relax it. And then we're going to do 6 more. So leg out again, and 1, 2, 3, and then we're just going to relax the leg. We can bring it up as far as we can to relax it. If you need to, just massage it out here. And now we're going to do a bent leg stretch. So we're going to lift it up 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to pause. Just take a break. And then we're going to do 6 again. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And just bring your knee up like this. Just relax it on the floor. We have one more set to do. What we're going to do is we're going to keep our legs straight, and we're going to go forward 6 times. Remember to bend your knee if you need to. If you can put your hand on your waist. If you can't, use your mat to steady you. 5 and 6. And just put your leg down to relax it. And we'll pick it up and we'll do 6 more. 2, 4, 5, 6. And now when we go forward, we're now going to take it back. So I want you to, you can either put your hand at your hip, put your hand on your mat for stability, and we're going to take the leg and we're going to go 6 back. Don't forget to bend your knee if you need to, and you want to move from your leg and try to keep your hips in line. 5 and 6, and relax. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're going to bring our leg up like this for a nice stretch. Now we're going to move over to the other side. So we're going to push up, cross your legs, adjust your towel if you need to, and we're going to get into 6 on the other side. So make sure we have our 90-degree angle with our legs, and we're going to start with our 6. We're going to put our leg out straight, and we're going to go up for 6. And remember, nice and slow and controlled. We want to do it slow and controlled. We don't want to do this and we don't want to do this, because all of a sudden we're not moving the muscles. So, and that's 6, and just relax. And up again, and we'll do 6 more. You can put your hand here if you need to for stability, or you can put your hand on your hip. And relax. And now we're going to do it with bent legs. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Just take a quick break if you need to. Put it up here to feel your stretch. And again for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you want to move with your whole leg when you're doing these. Lift your whole leg up and down. And then just bring it in for a nice little stretch. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this leg and we're going to go forward and back. So we're going to go forward. And we want to move it from the hip. And we want our bottom to stay stable. And relax it. And we're going to do 6 more front. So that's 1. For 6. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And back to the start. And if you want a bigger stretch, just do this and you can just massage this muscle out like that. Okay, so now we're going to push ourselves back up and we're going to do a couple of bridges today. We're going to end with a couple of bridges. So that's what we're going to do. So I don't know if anyone's done bridges before, but what you want to do in a bridge is you want to put your knees at a 90 degree. And now you're going to lift your torso, you're going to lift your waist up. So you can put your hands on the floor and you're going to tuck your feet together and you're going to just push up. We're going to push up our torso, we're going to push up our waist, and we're going to hold it for 6 counts. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to release it, and then we're going to bring our legs in and rock side to side. And now we're going to do another one, and this time what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can't bring our waist and our hips up a little bit higher. So on this one, we're going to see if we can't lift our legs a little bit higher, and we're going to hold it for 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to come down again. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to bring it up. And if you feel any tension in your knees, just move your knees a little bit further apart instead of so close together. So if you have any tension in your knees, feel free to do that, and only go up as high as you're comfortable. So if you can only go up this high, that's great. So we're going to do one more and hold it for 6. And then we're going to come down and we're going to rock side to side. And actually this time I want you to do circles. I want you to practice drawing circles with your back and your toes. I want you to draw circles for me. And then we're just going to put our feet on the ground and we're going to walk ourselves up. So that is what we're going to be doing today. I will be doing different exercises on the floor as well as different exercises and try to put together some 20-25 minute videos with cardio. Thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed my video today, don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a great day, and remember, be strong, be mighty, you've got this, and I will see you in the next video.